Better late than never, at least it's still January, but I'm going to go ahead and film my 2019 favorites for you guys today. I'm going to try to stick to the products that I either discovered in 2019 or that came out in 2019. So there are some categories that might not have anything in there. That's because I am continually using those products for years now. So something like the Dr. Jart BB cream or the Givenchy Coal Couture eyeliner in Jade, something like that. This first one is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. I have mentioned this quite a few times in haul videos because I continue to repurchase it. I've actually been through almost 3 full bottles of this. It's just my favorite mist. It gives a really nice glow to the skin. It gives some hydration, and it also has a really fine mister that I can target certain areas of my face that feel more dry than others, like my under eye. So I've used this just a complete ton. And then I've got the Origins Hello Calm Relaxing and Hydrating Face Mask with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil. This one is nearly finished. I think this is my 3rd tube of this. You guys might have seen, you've probably seen a few of these skincare products in my empties if you watch those. But this here, I like to use it on the weekend. I'll like wash my face off with like a gentle oil cleanser, and I'll put this on, leave it on for 15-20 minutes, and then I like to rub almost all of it off, but leave a little bit on there, and then I grab like the Eminence exfoliator. It's the Eminence Strawberry Rhubarb exfoliant, which is another one of my favorite products, but I get some of that in my palm, and then I massage it over my skin while there's still some of this left on there, and it both exfoliates it and just feels so soft and hydrated after I do that. So that's just my favorite way to use this mask from Origins. These next 2 products I had to get out of my empties because I'm actually out of both of them. The first one is Lord Jones, and Lord Jones as a whole, it was kind of one of my favorite CBD brands of the whole year, but this is the Royal Oil 1000 milligram CBD. There's only 2 ingredients in here, and it's grapeseed oil and then the CBD oil that's in this, which I really like that there aren't a ton of other ingredients mixed in there. It's one of the highest concentrated CBD oils that I have found on the market, and I really like the Josie Maran as well, but this one has got a ton more of CBD. I want to use up some of my other facial oils, and then at some point I probably will end up purchasing this guy because, again, this is an empty. The other serum is the Good Molecules Super Peptide Serum, and you can get this from Beautylish. This is actually it's either the 3rd or 4th, I can't remember exactly, bottle that I've used up of this stuff, and I really love to use this at night. I can kind of just notice an extra hydration and plumpness to my skin when I use that. It says on the bottle, formulated with tripeptides to target fine lines, wrinkles, and dullness. And I kind of feel like it does that. And this is only, I want to say $14. I've got one in my bucket because I need to repurchase it again. I'm trying to use up some of my serums and oils, and I miss both of these products, but I'm trying to be strong and use up some of the ones that I already have before I repurchase them. But I love this stuff, and again, that's from Good Molecules. And then this is my 2nd bottle of the Farmacy Very Cherry Bright 15% Clean Vitamin C Serum. This is one of the very few vitamin C serums that I found that I can use on my face without any irritation or reactions, and I have like a sensitive skin type. And this is my 2nd bottle of this, and this guy here I'm gonna have to repurchase soon too because it's up to like right there. I just really like it, and it also gives an extra added hydration to my skin. But vitamin C, my skin is really picky with vitamin C, and this one does not irritate my skin at all. So it's got 15% clean vitamin C in it, and it smells like cherries, and it's from the ingredients that it smells like cherries, not because there's fragrance in there. So I really love that. I love a lot of products from Farmacy. And then this last skincare item is from Pixi, and I started using this more towards the end of the year. It's actually replaced both of the Paula's Choice toners that I've been using. My skin just went crazy in like November, December from dryness, and I had to actually stop using salicylic acid. It was just drying my skin out too much, and so I was hesitant, but I went to a glycolic because my mom, she is obsessed with this stuff. She uses it morning and night, and now I do too. But I had to get past the sting, and I couldn't use any other like acid products or salicylic acids with this, and it worked better that way for me. But now I also use this morning and night, and I just feel like my skin, it's more hydrated. It's not so dried out. I don't have like a bunch of little under the skin bumps or anything like that. I feel like my skin is in a really good place, and I kind of contributed to switching over to this Pixi Glow Tonic. It's a 5% glycolic acid, and I know it does kind of have a cult following, but I always try it for like a day or two and then stop because it does have like a sting to it. But I'm past the sting now, and I love it. I really love this stuff. So that's the Pixi Glow Tonic 5% glycolic acid. I'm just like, why didn't I just keep using you before? Because my mom has been using this stuff for years. This is actually an empty bottle as well. Getting into some makeup products, I'll kind of start with the base products first. I've got the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. I've gone through some bottles of this. It's not a new product, and I mentioned it in other favorites, but this shade is new because they've extended the shade range, and this shade actually matches my skin really, really well. This is the shade Fawn 17, and this is just a really thin foundation. You don't need a whole ton of product, and it covers really well. It doesn't irritate my skin, and I really, really like it. I still use my Dr. Jart BB cream, of course, but I wanted to mention this guy because I did use this foundation a whole ton through 2019 in conjunction with the Dr. Jart, and that is a new shade in 17 Fawn. And then for concealer, I was like looking at all my concealers, and there's some that I still use and I still like and stuff, but my most used favorite concealer, like one that I just go to, especially throughout 2019, and I kind of discovered it in August. So I've used it pretty consistently since then, and that's the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid and Acai, and I use two shades, C1 and C2, and typically I like to mix the shades. C2 I can use in the summer, C1 in the dead of winter, but this is just a really beautiful concealer for underneath the eyes. I feel like it covers, it has nice hydration, it's comfortable, it doesn't look like dry and cakey. It's just really, really nice. And I noticed the last time I was in Ulta, these concealers were on sale, or like they had the clearance tag on them, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? I did end up picking up another shade of the C1, but then I was on Ulta website the other day, and I seen they have a new concealer that looks really similar in terms of packaging to this one, so I don't know if that's what's going to replace it. I'm going to try that one as well, but in the meantime, these two concealers, I have just used a boatload. I think that they're phenomenal. And then to set that concealer, I'm obsessed with the Ilia Soft Focus Finishing Powder, and it's in Fade Into You because I think there's two shades, so this actually has a shade, but it's like a white powder. Stephanie Leda here on YouTube is the one who turned me onto this. She just said how much she loved it, so I gave it a go. And this powder does exactly kind of what the name says it does. It's a soft focus finishing powder. It like blurs your under eyes. I will say it does have a slight, it feels a little dry, but there's some really good like aloe vera and hydrating ingredients in it, so I find that quite interesting. But it blurs the under eyes really well, and it sets concealer really, really well. I blew through a whole jar of this, so I used it consistently from, I think I got it during the September Sephora sale, September through, I just ran out of it like last week, so of course I have another jar already. So using it consistently just under my eyes, and I also use it to set my nose because it really keeps the oil down and also blurs. That has lasted me that long, one tube. I probably really go through it fast if I set my whole face, but this is a beautiful powder. I love it. And I just recently gave my mom it to try, and she's ordering one of these as well. She really likes it. So discovered it a little later in the year, but this is a beautiful, beautiful powder for setting underneath the eyes. Ilia is also a clean beauty brand, so that is great. And then all over the face, I've just been using a bunch of random powders. Recently in 2020, I've been using the Chanel one that I just hauled. But otherwise, I've just been using a whole bunch of different ones, and none that really, really stuck out to me enough to put in a 2019 favorites video. I'd probably put the Ilia one if I went and used it for all over my face, but I would just go through it so fast. So anyways, while we're on powder, I've also gone through several of these guys. It's the e.l.f. Matte Blotting Powder. The only fault about this particular product is the caps always break off. So as I use up a little bit more of this, about when I'm probably 3/4 done, the cover always breaks off, which is quite annoying, but this powder itself is really stunning. It takes down shine, and it also gives a nice blurring effect to those areas, and I just take a little brush, like if I got a little shine like on my face, like from these lights, I do look a little bit shinier on camera than I am in person, but I keep one of these in my purse, and I just use it to take down shine, and it never like gets cakey or anything like that. It just has a nice finish and gets rid of shine, and I really like it. So that's the e.l.f. Matte Blotting Powder right there. And then onto some brow products. I have been through 2 sets of the MAC Shape and Shade brow tints. I use taupe and fling. I use fling towards the beginning of the brow and then taupe towards the outer portion of the brow. And this is my 3rd set of these throughout the year. I still love this product, but more recently I've transitioned into using kind of strictly a brow gel, which I'm also going to show you my favorite one of those as well, which I used to use these and then fluff them out with the brow gel, and now I'm kind of just into the brow gel, but I still really love these products. I love the marker end, and I would just feather it through my brows, and I've used this pretty consistently throughout the entire year. So that one is Fling, and there is a little pomade in the end, but I don't typically use the pomade. I just use the marker portion of it, and here is Taupe right here. So there's Fling and there's Taupe. And again, I've been through several of these products as well, and they're just really, really good brow pens. And those are from MAC. And then the brow gels, I recently repurchased these 2 right here. These are the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. These are the products that I have through my brows today. I have got light in the light 105 in the first part, and then I like to use medium throughout the whole brow and blend it in with light in the front. And these give you just really voluminous, fluffy brows with a decent hold. So I've got some pretty fluffy, spiky brows, and I've just really been living for that effect recently. I like to use it with the MAC markers sometimes as well, but like I said, recently I've been just using these 2. I've been toying around with brow gels, but I keep going back to these guys because they just give so much fluff to the eyebrows. So those are from CoverGirl, and they're the Easy Breezy Brow, and I use shades light and medium right there. And again, I've got these both through my brows today. And then getting into some lip products, and hands down my most used lip products are Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, mostly Iconic Nude, and her lipstick in KKW. Still love them, still use them ridiculously, but I brought up those in 2018 as well. So I'm going to show some products that I got in 2019 that I also really love and have used a ton. And I'll start off with these 2 lip liners. The first one is from KKW Beauty, and it is the lip liner in Nude 1. It's just a really good formula and a really good color. And then the other one is the Kristen Audette and Mel Thompson collaboration in the shade Smooches. I've also purchased a couple other Kristen Audette lip liners that I really like as well, but my most used one is this Smooches one. So let me just swatch them so you guys can see. You're definitely going to see a pattern with these lip products. So that is Nude 1 from KKW right there. And then here is the Smooches from Kristen Audette and Mel Thompson. I've actually got that lip liner on my lips today. Yep. So other than the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, which I'm always obsessed with, these were my other 2 most used lip liners. And then for lipsticks, I really like these Hourglass lipsticks. I don't know the exact name of them, but this particular one is my most used. There is not a ton of product left in here, but this is the one in the First Time. It has just got really opaque coverage to it, and it's a really pretty shade. So that is the First Time from Hourglass. And then these lipsticks are going to be so similar. Next, I've got the Buxom Full Force lipstick in Goddess, and I've actually got 2 of these lipsticks because I like to carry one with me in my purse. And this is, again, these are all nudes, let's just be real. So this is Goddess from Buxom, and this formula is beautiful, and these smell, they smell so good as well. And there's like little lipstick embossing on the tube, but I really hope that Buxom expands this lipstick range because I feel like they're missing some shades in there. I want to say there's only like 10 or 12 shades available, but this formula is stunning. The Bold Gel lipsticks were some of my favorite from Buxom. I don't know if they discontinued those or not, but I use Guilty Angel and the Coral Confession shade a ton. Those lipsticks are beautiful as well. So anyway, I hope they expand the range of these guys right here, the Buxom Full Force, because they're stunning. Next up, I have got another Kristen Audette and Mel Thompson lipstick. This one I had to go get out of my purse as well because it's been traveling with me. And this is a nude, and the shade is Beauty. The packaging is super pretty. But this is the color Beauty right here. And then we have got the Becca. These were the, I can't remember the Ultimate Lipstick Love. And this is in Sea Sugar. This is what I have on my lips today. I wore this a pretty massive amount as well in 2019. It's a nude. Oh my gosh, go figure. But this formula from Becca is really nice. I've got a couple of these lipsticks. This just so happens to be my most worn shade right here in Sugar. And then the last one is this Charlotte Tilbury. I can't remember again the official name of these, but it comes in this type of packaging. This is probably my favorite packaging of this launch with the panthers on it. But this is the shade Angel Alessandra. And it's got a slight bit of a warm tone to it, or almost like a corally tone. And Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks, again, her formula is just awesome. So those are pretty much my most worn new lipsticks from 2019. Yeah, definite pattern there, right? And then I have a lip balm kind of lipstick favorite, and it's from Pat McGrath. It's her Lip Fetish Lip Balm. The one that I used up was called, I think, Gold Astral. The one I'm going to show you is Nude Astral, which I never understand why they called this nude because it looks pink. It should be like Pink Astral. But anyway, the gold one, I'm using this one quite a bit as well, but the gold one I have used up and is sitting in my empties. But I just really like this for throughout the day to throw it on for a balm and a shine. If you don't like glitter particles on your lips, you're definitely not going to like these, because these do leave glitter behind on your lips. But I think that they look really, really pretty and like make your lips look plump and kind of voluptuous. A few more lip products. I almost forgot these guys. These lipsticks here are by far the most beautiful lipsticks in my collection. And these are the House of Sillage lipsticks right here. The formulation of them is really easy to wear and throw on. They have a nice like moisturizing factor to them, and they look beautiful on the lips. But in addition to the formulation of these lipsticks being just really stunning, the packaging of these are some of my most beautiful makeup products in my collection, including like all categories. That is how beautiful these cases are. This one right here is from the Aeronauts collaboration right here. And the shade in here is Baroness, or Baron, B-A-R-O-N. I've used this quite a bit as well. It's a pink shade. I'll just swatch it for you guys. And these smell so good too. They smell really nice. I really feel like anybody that's into makeup should have at least one of these in their collection because they're so beautiful. Like if you're a makeup lover, just get one. They're stunning. This one here is the one that came out with the Christian Cowan collaboration here. And this one has got a really pretty nude with a sheen to it that came with it. So you can see the shades, all the shades that I have are pretty easy to wear. They do have some darker shades, reds and pinks and stuff like that, but these shades here are just really easy to throw on for me. Sometimes I just hold them. They're really weighted, and they're enamel with Swarovski crystals on them. So I love those. I'll show you the three that I have. That's the Christian Cowan one. This one is just a black one. This comes in several different solid colors like this. And then this one is from the Aeronauts collection. They're so pretty. If you get a chance to go in store and see House of Sillage, check these out and feel them because they're so weighted. Now let's get into some face color products. Let's get into some highlighters, shall we? All of these I got in 2019 and wore a massive amount. This first one is from Bare Minerals. It is the highlighter in the shade Whimsy. I really love the formulation of these new pressed face products from Bare Minerals. You'll see that in a minute when I mention two more. But this one is the Whimsy one. It's got a pink undertone to it, but it looks so pretty on the skin. So that is Whimsy from Bare Minerals. And then I have got White Noise from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. These highlighters are stunning as well. This is actually the highlighter that I have on my face today. It's a really pretty white champagne. And you want to talk about like metallic reflectiveness. Look at that. It is so, so pretty. Give Me Glow in general. I love their eyeshadows as well. I don't have one in the favorites video because I haven't really used those ones as much as the ones I'm going to show you, but I do love their shadow formula as well. But that is the highlighter in White Noise. And then a surprising one, I have got this Kylie Pressed Illuminating Powder in Ice Me Out. It's kind of similar to the White Noise, not as reflective as that one, but I use this a load as well. It's another kind of white champagne shade with a really reflective property to it. So that is Kylie Ice Me Out highlighter right there. And then we have got the Marc Jacobs Omega Glaze in 80 Worth the Wait. This is another white champagne. This I really buff into the skin and it looks super stunning. And you get like just a ton of product. Well, 0.35 ounces. Standard-ish, I guess, but it looks so big because of the pan is so big, but I bet it's a little shallow. Anyway, it's a stunning highlighter. So that one right there is Marc Jacobs Worth the Wait. And then I have got the Ofra Madison Miller Collab highlighter in Moondance. I really would like to include all of the Ofra highlighters that I have or got in 2019. This is probably my most used from 2019 though. I love Star Island, but I got that in 2018. This is similar to Star Island, but I feel like this has got a little bit more yellow and a little bit more sparkle to it. But I love all the Ofra highlighters as well. So that one right there is the Ofra Madison Miller Collab highlighter. And then the last one I have in the highlighter category that I used a ton is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Highlighter in Vegas. You guys know I love Snowflake, but again, that one came out last year. This one came out this year. And this one is actually a really pretty champagne as well. I like to pick up quite a bit of product and just really buff it into the skin. This doesn't have quite the sparkle that Snowflake does, but it's still very pretty. This one is probably the most yellow undertoned out of the highlighters that I'm showing you guys. So this is Vegas right here. Yeah, it's got the most yellow undertone to it. So that's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Highlighter in Vegas. And I love that one as well. Obviously, I love all these products, right? Next up, let's talk about some blushes. This first one is actually considered a highlighter, but I've used it as a blush kind of nonstop. It's, again, a Bare Minerals Endless Glow highlighter, and it's in the shade Joy. This is just the prettiest coral tangerine shiny blush on my skin tone. I love it. I can only imagine on a deeper skin tone how pretty this would be as a highlighter because it's just a beautiful product. But I use it as a blush and I love it. My mom actually has this and loves it as a blush as well. So that is the Bare Minerals Endless Glow highlighter in Joy. And then two more Bare Minerals products which really surprised me. I bought these and just kind of didn't know what to expect, but on the skin, they're stunning. My mom actually purchased both of these as well, and we love them. So they're the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blushes. I've got Pink Sky and Coral Cloud. So Pink Sky is the pinker one, and Coral Cloud is the more coral one. These are a blush that have like a spongy type of a texture. I use them with a brush that I'll show you in a minute here that has a little bit more of a synthetic, stiffer bristle type. Well, it's not stiff, but it's firm because it's dense, if that makes sense, but the tips are still very soft. Anyway, I use that brush to pick this up, and the finish of these on the skin is beautiful. It actually looks like skin. It's just, they're really stunning products, and I've used these an absolute boatload. So here is Pink Sky and here's Coral Cloud. I just really didn't expect to love these as much as I do. They might not swatch the best because they're like a, I don't know, they're like a cream to powder type of finish. So Pink Sky and Coral Cloud. They're so pretty. They just, I mean, they just look like skin. They're stunning. So those are both from Bare Minerals, and they're the Bounce and Blur blushes. This next one I wore pretty religiously throughout the summertime because it gives that almost sunburnt cheek look to the skin, which I think is super pretty. And it's from Dior. It's the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer Blush in number 10. And I want to say it came out with the summer collection, but this is a Baked Gelée blush, which you guys know I'm obsessed with Baked Gelée products. But this is so stunning. This is so stunning on the skin. It's very pigmented as well, but it gives that just out of the sun, sunburnt look to the cheeks that I think is so pretty. So that is from Dior, and it's the Nude Skin Luminizer Blush in number 10 right there. And then lastly, for kind of the single blushes, are these Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duos. I say single, but they're kind of like single blushes. There's actually two shades in here. There's a Baked Gelée blush and there is a powder blush. These are my most used shades. I have got Pink Dahlia on my cheeks today. Beautiful finish. I've actually just got the Baked Gelée half on my cheeks today, which is this guy. And then the other half is a powder matte satin finish. and I really love these. I love both of these. I've got all of these duos from Cover FX, and they're all really pretty, but these are my most used ones. And I typically go for the Big Jelly half more than the other one, but that's Pink Dahlia. And then the other shade that I used a ton was Soft Peach. And this is Soft Peach right here. It's kind of a corally peachy peach. It's peach, right? Yeah, it's a peach. So there's Soft Peach. And again, those are the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duos right there. See, I'm kind of getting shiny from these lights again. I just take this little e.l.f. powder and poof it over the shiny spots, and it just does such a wonderful job. I love it. Now getting into some bronzers. I'm kind of trying to hurry or talk faster so that this isn't such a long video because this is like a ton of products. But this is another one from Bare Minerals. It's the Endless Summer Bronzer in Faux Tan. And I had used this a ton, a real ton, a lot. I've used it a lot. I did have to take tape after this one to remove some of the hard pan because it does kind of develop hard pan easy. But the color of this is just really pretty. This is the Faux Tan shade. They also have it in Warmth. But the color is what I really like. Well, the formula too. I like the formula. It's a bit stiff and a little bit hard to pick up. That's kind of why it creates that hard pan. But I use a more stiff natural bristle brush with it, and it does a pretty good job. But that is Faux Tan. I just love the tone of that one. It doesn't lean super warm or super red. It's just kind of a bronzy brown. So that is Faux Tan from Bare Minerals. And then I've got the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess Ultimate Mineral Infused Matte Bronzer in 03 Brazen. Use this an absolute ton as well. This is very pigmented, but it blends out on the skin really nice. I was really tempted to get another shade of this bronzer, but I never did. I really kind of should have. You can kind of see that this one pulls a little bit more reddy than the Bare Minerals one. Bare Minerals one almost has a slight hint of yellow to it compared to that Bare Mineral or the Estee Lauder, but love that one as well. I'm going to stop saying that because I love all these products. That's the Bronze Goddess in 03 Brazen right there. And then the last single bronzer that I used a ton is the Chantecaille Real Bronze in Goa, G-O-A. This came out with their summer collection, but I believe it is still available. I've seen it on a couple sites. This is a big jelly bronzer. Very pigmented, very stunning. Which one do I have on my face today? Oh, I'm wearing the Bronze Goddess bronzer on my face today. I wanted to try to wear some of the products that I'm mentioning on my face today so you can see them. But this is stunning as well. Love the tone of it. Just a really good bronzer, and you guys know I love that baked jelly texture. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. This one is probably the most warm out of them, but that is the Chantecaille Goa Real Bronze Bronzer. And then I've got this Revolution Pro Sculpt and Glow Contour and Highlight Palette. I love the highlighter and the bronzer in this, and I've actually been through an entire one of these in the bronzer half. I probably made it midway through the highlighter, but I went and purchased another one. I go through these so fast because there's only 0.07 ounces of product in each shade, so the pans are pretty thin. You know, a typical bronzer is like 0.35 ounces compared to 0.07, you know, so that's kind of the only downfall. This is my second one, and I've already hit the pan on there, but I use this a ton. It's so easy to use on my skin tone. There are 3 shades of this available, and this highlighter, super metallic, super shiny, just looks really stunning on the cheeks. So I really love both of these. This is the one in Sands of Time, and again there are 3 shades of these available, but this is the one that I've just used a boatload. Again, this is my second one, and I have another one of these on backup as well because I just think it's so pretty, so easy to work with as well. I mean, they're pretty, you know, they're pretty affordable products, but with the amount of product that you're getting and as fast as I'm using them up, I'm not sure just how affordable they end up being. But I still really love that guy. And then 2 highlighters that I just think are so stunning. They kind of remind me of a pressed version of the Anastasia Beverly Hills loose highlighters that I really like. These are the Colored Rain and Power, what are they officially called? Well, they're blush and highlight duos. The blushes are beautiful as well. They're very pigmented, but I mostly reach for these guys for the highlighters. So I've got Damage Control, which has more of a champagne highlighter in it. And then the Prove My Loyalty has got a white highlighter in it. And I I use these highlighters. I keep them out actually because I like to use them so much. I was actually wearing this in my Saturday haul video. They're a little bit like see-through type products with a bunch of shine. They look best when you really buff them into the cheeks, and it's almost like you can see your skin through them. Like you can kind of tell right there on my fingers that they have like just a beautiful shine, but a see-through factor to them. They're not like super opaque, if that makes sense. So that's the highlighter from Damage Control, is the champagne one, and then Prove My Loyalty is the white one. And I seen these on really good sale not that long ago as well. And these blushes, you guys, I want to show you how this is one of the blushes. Pigmented, very pigmented blushes in these as well. And then I've got a couple face palettes kind of as well, kind of blush highlight blush bronzer type palettes. These I've traveled with, and this one in particular because I can use every product and I really like every product, and that's the NARS Motutane, M-O-T-U-T-A-N-E face palette, and it's got a highlighter, a blush, and a bronzer in there, and all three of these shades I can use on my skin tone and they look stunning. It's the one with the little fishies on the front, which I like the packaging too. But the bronzer in here is Laguna, and then the blush is Manava, and the highlighter is Makatea. And I think I got this at Nordstrom, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but if it is, it's a really good one. And there's a coral one, I think, available somewhere too that I'd seen, but I really love this guy. That's the NARS Motutane right there. And then this is kind of a little bit more recent. I want to say September-ish. This is the Clinique Cheek Pop palette. I've got the one with the more coral shades in it as well, but this is the one that I have used the most. And how I like to use it, it doesn't really say a shade name on there, but it's the cooler version. Is mix this lighter one in with both of these to kind of create a pretty pastel peach and a pretty pastel pink, and it worked out great. I love the Cheek Pop from Clinique. They're baked jelly formulas and they just look stunning on. And then this other one I got in a BoxyCharm, and then I was mentioning how it's one of the only products that I fell in love with out of a BoxyCharm, and then I think they kicked me off the PR list, but whatever. It's the Perfector Face Palette. This is also from Cover FX, and I've used this quite a bit as well. It's a good one to travel with because the blush is pretty, the bronzer is quite cool, and then I like this shade and mix in with a little bit of this guy for a highlighter. This one's a little bit too deep, so I can put it in with this to add some shimmer, but it's just a really good kind of versatile face palette. This I've used as a finishing powder, and it looks nice, but I don't like it like I like the Guerlain Meteorites. But this is a good one for traveling because it has some, you know, quite a few nice products in there. And then next up, I have got the eye category. I've got a whole ton of products. I'm going to try to go through it kind of quick. This first one is a Pat McGrath Quad. I love Pat McGrath eyeshadows. I love all her eyeshadows for that matter. But this in particular has got a shade in it that is just something I feel that's otherworldly. This is the one in Ritualistic Rose right here. And these are beautiful as well. But the shade that I'm talking about is this. It is just otherworldly, and so I'm going to swatch it for you guys. But on the lid, it's just something else, something so pretty, and I have used that quite a bit. As you can see, these guys kind of look sad next to that one because I reached for this palette just to use that shade. But that is the Ritualistic Rose Quad. In addition to that one, I love all of the Pat McGrath palettes that came out in 2019. And I'm going to mention this one, and I'm sorry, but I'm hoping that she comes out with it because I feel like there's a high demand for it and a lot of people want it. And that is the, what is the name of this one? It is the Mothership palette in Divine Rose. I've used this a whole ton for the short amount of time that I have had it, because this one I think came out in November-ish. I don't know how I caught it on her website, but I was able to get it. I use like every single shade in this palette. It's got some of her, this shade in particular was in another palette, but it is my favorite shade, so I'm glad that I have it in another palette. It's called Astral Solstice. It's that same formula from the one that I showed you in that quad. And I can't get over how stunning this looks on. But these shades all together, oh, so pretty. The mattes, the shimmers, the glitters. It's a stunning palette. So Pat McGrath, come back out with it because there's a whole lot of people that want this. Anyway, that's the Divine Rose, and it's stunning. Next up, I've got the Kylie Cosmetics Cocoa eyeshadow palette. I've used this a ton. The quality on this is great. There's a great range of shimmer and matte shadows, and all together these shades just look something stunning on the lid, and I use that a boatload. Then I've got the KKW palette in Smoky Volume 1. This kind of surprised me, and I use this kind of as a pairing palette, but also by itself a lot. There's 4 mattes and 1 shimmer shade, and I'd use this one on the inner corner and this one on the lid, and then blend out with these, and then this underneath the brow. And this was just a really, really pretty eye look, and I use this a lot more than I really thought I would when I purchased it. I love all my ColourPop palettes as well, but these two in particular are just super stunning. The Going Coconuts one, they're just very well curated in terms of lights, darks, mattes, and shimmers. Great array of shades in there, and it's very neutral. And then the Night Owl one leans a little bit more, well, quite a bit more warm, but again, the shade range in here in terms of shimmers, mattes, lights, and dark are really good. And I love both of these palettes for neutrals, and I like to use them for pairing as well. And those are from ColourPop, the Night Owl and the Going Coconuts. They're great. Then I've got some Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes. The neon palettes in particular have got some of the prettiest unique shades in them, and I love all 3 of them. I am so happy that I have these. Like, they are so fun to pair. Like, even pairing these with those ColourPop palettes, you just get some stunning looks, or using them by themselves. But I love these. They're just some absolutely stunning shimmers and super bright mattes in here. I really love this launch from Huda. Another one from Huda is this Mercury Retrograde palette. Packaging is stunning. I've used this a whole ton. I've heard very mixed reviews on this, but I particularly get along with it super well. Again, great a range of shades, both light, dark, medium, shimmer. It just works out really, really well. And some of the looks that have come out of this, they just look like galactic is the best way to describe it. But I really like these shadows and the colors that are in here and the packaging. This palette as a whole is one of my favorites from the whole year. And then I've got 2 palettes from Kaleidos that are kind of my most used from Kaleidos. I've got all of them in their stunning quality, but I kind of feel like this brand as a whole is just an up and coming, super exciting brand. So these are the Kaleidos eyeshadow palettes. I've got Futurism 1 and Futurism 2. Futurism 1 is the Sci-Fi Green. There's just some super pretty, those mustardy type green colors in here that are super stunning. And these shadows, you guys, let me show you here. They are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful eyeshadows. So that one there is the Sci-Fi Green Futurism 1. And then the other one is the Cyber Bronze. The only thing that I wish they ditched these plastic deals and they had the names printed on the inside or on the back, because they slide out all the time, and I just prefer it that way. But this one is the Cyber Bronze. Let's give you, oh, I gotta use my other hand here. They have great pigmentation. They blend. The shimmers are so, so shiny. Just a super fun brand, and I really like their eyeshadow formula, both the shimmers and the mattes. So that one was the Cyber Bronze from Kaleidos. And then these next 5 palettes that I'm going to show you all kind of have a theme. They're very easy to slap on, and they all create this kind of undone, bronzy summer, like you look like you're hot and having fun is the best way that I can describe it. But they all kind of, you'll see they all kind of give a similar look to the eyes. 2 from Tom Ford. These are their Baked Jelly, or baked type of eyeshadow formula. This first one is 04 Suspicion, which I wore a ton. They're just super stunning. All the shades are shimmer, so when I use it, I just stick to this palette and I have all shimmer on. But I love that one. And then the other one, also from Tom Ford, is the Body Heat. I've worn this so much you don't even have the TFs in there anymore. I like to pretend that TF stands for, because those are my initials. I feel like they're embossed with my initials. But this is Body Heat, and this is actually the quad that I have on my eyes today, and it just looks like I slapped some eyeshadow on, but it looks hot. That's how I feel about it. I feel about that. These particular 5 palettes just look like it's like 95 degrees outside and you're going to a party and you're gonna have a lot of fun. That's how I feel about it. So Anyway, that's Body Heat, and this is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and I just love it. Super easy to work with. Again, they're all shimmers, so if you prefer some mattes, these don't have any mattes in there. And then another similar one, same type of effect, is the Dior Quint in 786 Terra, Terra. Baked jelly formula there as well. They, again, give that same type of effect to the eye, and they're super easy to use. They just blend out really nice, all shimmer as well. Love that guy. That is Terra from Dior, 786. And then lastly here, which I really didn't expect to love these two palettes as much as I do, because they just look very bland when you look at them and bland when you swatch them, but when you put them on, they still, again, that summertime heat is what I get from it. So that's the Hot Nights and Summer Lights Face and Eye Palette. I typically use the bronzer in here, but I use the highlight more on the eyes, and I also use the bronzer on the eyes as well, but the highlighters are both too deep for my skin tone. So you can see I've used these quite a bit as well. This one is the Hot Nights. It's got the kind of more burgundy purples, and then the other one is Summer Lights, which is much more warm right there. But I really love these. I love them a lot more than I anticipated that I would when I purchased them. Last but definitely not least in eyeshadow land is the Viseart eyeshadows. Their Grand Pro Volume 2 palette in particular. Did that come out in 2018? Oh my gosh, I don't remember. But it is definitely a favorite. It's in this palette, which is also a favorite, the Adept Cosmetics palettes. This is one of their hard double-sided plastic palettes. I have got 2 of these that are filled with Viseart eyeshadows. Ideally, you can just consider this whole palette a favorite. The Grand Pro Volume 3 is right here, and that came out in 2019, I know, but this one here has got a bunch of those crystallines. That's the Grand Pro Volume 2 over here. These Adept palettes do have a clear middle section to keep the shadows separate, but I love these. And then the palette in here, which I actually removed from the palette just to travel with because I like the shades so much on the lid, is the Koi palette, which is these 3 down. This guy right here is the Koi palette from Viseart. Again, like I said, I removed that just to travel with it because I think the shades look so pretty on the lid. But this is all a favorite for me. I love all of these, and I love this palette as well from Adept Cosmetics that keeps them kind of separate. So that is a definite favorite as well. I have 2 more eye products that I almost forgot, and these are both single potted shadows. The first one is the Tarte Chrome Paint in Wild at Heart. These are actually have a similar type of shift to them. And the other one is the Kylie Cosmetics Deep Sea Dreams Shimmer Eye Glaze. And the entire ranges of both of these are favorites. These 2 just so happen to be my most used colors out of those. So this first one is from Tarte, and it is so stunning. This is Wild at Heart Chrome Paint. There's like a beautiful greeny purple pink shift to this. It's hard to kind of describe, but it's really, really pretty. So that is Tarte Chrome Paint in Wild at Heart. And then this next one is the Kylie Cosmetics Deep Sea Dreams. And this has got a bit of a shifty duochrome to it as well. It's a little bit harder to pick up on the camera. It's like a pink with a purpley shifty blue, not blue, kind of blue, depends on the light, but it's really pretty on the lid too. I really like both lines of both these products from both all the Kylie eye glazes I have, and the Tarte Chrome paints are super pretty. I almost forgot my eyeshadow primer. This is what I've been using for quite some time as an eyeshadow primer. It's the Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick with Broad Spectrum SPF 25, and this is from Bare Minerals, and I have the shade Opal 01. I use it from the lash line to up underneath the brow. It's got nice hydration, and I feel like sometimes people forget about like SPF for the lids, and I have really dry skin, so the hydrating factor helps with that as well. But I love that it's got SPF 25, and for me, shadows just look so much prettier over this base. I do not set it with a loose powder. I go right in over it with shadow, and it just brings, I feel like, my shadows to life, and I don't have to use like a spray or a glitter glue or anything because things really stick to this. In the summertime, sometimes with my mattes, when I blend over it, I'll get a little bit of a shine, and I just take a translucent powder afterwards and tap it over, and it takes the shine down. But other than that, I love this for an eyeshadow primer. and I love the SPF 25. So that's the Opal 01 Complexion Rescue Foundation Stick from Bare Minerals, and that's been my go-to eye primer. I'll show you guys how much I used of this. I use a lot of it. And then lastly, I have got some tools, and these have been kind of my favorite brushes that have come out in 2019. And these first ones are from a brand called Unit, which Beautylish sells, and they originally sent me over a whole range of these brushes, and I find myself looking for these particular brushes to use. The Unit 109, this is the one that I love to use with those Bare Minerals kind of bouncy blushes, and I also like to use it with cream products. I find myself looking for this for a cream highlight or also a cream blush or anything like that. I love this little brush. It's soft, but it's dense, so it just picks up product and puts it on the skin. Very nice. So that's the Unit 109 brush. And then these next two I like to for all over buffing or also setting my foundation. I've got the Unit 106 and the Unit 107, and again I find myself looking for these brushes because I really like them. The 106 is pointed and a little bit more fluffy than the Unit 107, which is angled. But these are pretty affordable and they're really nice synthetics. I feel like they're well made. I've washed all three of these brushes a ton because I've used them a ton and I don't have any problems with any of them. So I really like those Unit brushes from Beautylish. Also from Beautylish, the Sonia G brushes, particularly in 2019, the Sky brush line with the blue handles, which I know they've been sold out. These are so stunning. I use 4 of the eye brushes really regularly. I love this little guy, the Mini Booster, right here for blending out in the crease. Her brushes are just stunning. The handles, the lacquer, the blue, they're just beautiful. And then here are 2 of the ones that came in the face set. I just washed these as well. I like to coat them with aloe vera, so that's what's on there. It kind of holds them together. But this one is the Master Face. This is good for so many things, like all over buffing of powder on the skin, bronzer, you can use it for blush. It's just a really good versatile brush. And then also the Mini Cheek. It's good for setting underneath the eyes. It's good for highlighter or like just pinpoint type stuff. So I really love that one as well. They're just stunning brushes. And then lastly, I have got the Rephr brushes. They send these over to me and they're stunning. There's something really nice about the fact that these brushes are a little bit more firm but still remain really, really soft. So I feel like they work product quicker than some other brushes. They're not too wispy or too airy or anything like that. But there is a place for, you know, a wispy brush too. But I like these for particular reasons because they have a little bit more firmness, but they're still soft on the skin. So I've got the 04 brush. I've got this in a longer handle as well. This is a brush that I find myself looking for in my collection too, because I use it for a lot of different things. Mostly I like to use it for blush or pinpoint kind of bronzing or more specific type bronzing. And then for all over bronzing, this P11B, I think this is one of the prototypes. That's why it starts with a P. But I was so surprised when I used this as bronzer how much I enjoy using a dual fiber brush for bronzing. And the tips of this, it's not pokey. It's very, very soft. So this is the P11B. And I don't know if it made the permanent range or not, but it's a really stunning one. And then their eye brushes. These ones in particular, I love these ones. They're kind of similar to the Sonia G one that I just showed you called the Mini Booster. So here's the Sonia G. It's a little shorter, a little bit more round. These ones are a little longer and a little skinnier. I've got the 13 and the 14 right there. And I like to use these the same way that I like to use the Sonia G brush and really buff out in the crease. I really like these. They work super well because they're a little bit more firm, so they just really buff out that deeper color in the crease. And then I've got this little 02 flat shader brush as well. But I have got a ton. I would be here for a really long time if I went through all of the Sonia G brushes and the Rephr brushes and the Units brushes that I love because there's some really good ones and there's a lot of them. So I thought I was done at brushes, but I'm not. I have got to mention these eyelashes. I discovered Lily lashes in 2019. You're like, Tara, where you been, under a rock or what? No, I just don't know why I never purchased these. But these are the original 2 pairs that I still have and have still been wearing them. I must have wore these each at least 15 times by now, which they do say up to 20 uses per pair. My favorite ones are Croissant, and these are the faux mink. I like the faux mink ones. So this is Croissant, spelled like that. And this one I get at Ulta. I think it's an Ulta exclusive. So I've already trimmed mine. These are the ones that I wear. And they're so beautiful, fluttery, light, and they just look stunning on the eyes. And then the other one is Paris, which these are the full mink in Paris. And these ones are sold at Sephora. And these ones are just a little bit more wispy than the Croissant ones. But I am just obsessed with these. I've got so many pairs of these like on backup, and I'm still on my original pair. I do take really good care of them though. And then very last here is the Colored Rain Safari Rain Glamazon eyelashes. And these are a trimmed down pair as well. I've got so many pairs of these on backup, and these are super long, super fluffy, super big fluffy eyelashes, and they're borderline crazy, but I love them. They make me feel like a fairy when I wear them, and I just don't care. So I wear them. They're really big. These are trimmed down quite a bit, but that's about as much as I trim them down for my eyes. If you want to see them on, I wore them in the introduction to my makeup collection video, and I did get some comments saying that my eyelashes look ridiculous, and I was like, yeah, probably, but I still like them. And I feel like a fairy, so there's that. But those are from Colored Rain, and those are the Glamazon eyelashes. Colored Rain does make some really nice eyelashes. I've been talking so much that I got kind of a ring of lipstick on my lips. So let's put some more sugar on. Put some sugar on me. That's the Becca lipstick and sugar. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. It's a ton of stuff. It's going to take me a while to edit, but I'm going to get it done. I'm gonna get it done. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.